Donnie Houston.
Hi, Donnie.
Going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm cool. So, what's going on with you? I mean, you tell me how your life has changed over this past week with everything.
Honestly, I've found a new artist that I really, really enjoy. Unfortunately, I had no idea about DJ Screw before all of this came out, but I mean, ever since the internet sort of gave me that criticism on how I should have included him in the Sloan and Reverb video, I looked him up and I've been listening to 3 in the morning, that mixtape ever since. And like, he's incredible. Like, he really is incredible. So
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what do you tell me? What did you take away from 3 in the morning?
I just, it's just so awesome how, like, it's really one of those albums that you just have to listen to the whole thing from top to bottom to really experience it. You know what I mean? Because, like, each track, and there's like 24 tracks, I think, they all flow into each other just beautifully. You can really feel like the heart in his work through like just listening to his music. I just, it's really admirable. I love it. I've been bumping it a lot.
Nice, nice. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Just where you from, how old you are, and kind of what you have going on.
Yeah, so my name's Devin. I'm from the Philadelphia suburbs, and I'm 21 years old. I'm a senior in college studying film, and yeah, I music is one of my greatest passions. I talk about it and study it in my free time.
Yeah, and you're an artist as well. No, you have some music out.
Yeah, I've been making music for about 2 years now. So yeah.
Okay, so tell me about how did you get onto the whole like slowed and reverb and that whole thing.
Yeah, so Slowed and Reverb is something that has been sort of trending on TikTok and like YouTube. Um, so I've been hearing, like, just going through my TikTok feed, I hear a lot of Slowed and Reverb songs that are trending. Um, so that's how I really got into it. I would just go on SoundCloud and like look at the Slowed and Reverb versions of some of my favorite songs and listen to those because I think it's so cool how you like taking a song and sort of digitally slowing it down and then, putting it up. It just puts it in a totally different context. And I think it's like I love listening to that. So yeah, that's how I
Yeah,
got introduced to it. It's sort of a
I'm hearing like slow down music.
sorry, what did you say?
That was your first time like hearing like the whole slow down music and all that. That was your introduction to slow down music right there.
Yeah, my introduction to slow down music was definitely on TikTok. I know that, is not, now I know that that's absolutely not the
Yeah,
origin of it at all. That's, Slater did not come up with this. Um, but yeah, so like listening to that, and then I go to DJ Screw's discography and I'm checking him out, like it's amazing.
yeah,
It's so impressive.
yeah. So when you I mean, tell me about some of the backlash because I mean this was a big deal. Kev on stage picked the video up, and I think they kind of like gained a lot of the momentum behind like the getting it out there of what was going on.
Hmm.
Talk about just some of the backlash you received from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I woke up, Wednesday or Thursday morning, I think. I saw a lot of people tagging me in this video on Instagram by Kev on Stage. Um, and at first I watched it and, I was like, oh, DJ Screw, I'd never heard of him before. And then I saw that you know,
Ever heard of DJ Screw? The name DJ Screw?
yeah,
Huh.
that is the first time I'd ever heard of DJ Screw. So I was like, oh, awesome, I'm gonna go check him out. And then, I saw that the more I watched the video, he said that he was like saying that I was giving credit to a Slater that I had never heard of. A guy like from Saved by the Bell. That was not the Slater I was talking about. I was talking about um, another person from Houston who's not white, who's black. So at first, I was very upset at being accused for cultural appropriation because, um, I didn't take something and credit it to a white person. Like I don't I don't fuck with that at all. So the backlash, um it was very, a lot of it was constructive. A lot of it was just really harsh. So it was,
What's some of the things that people were saying?
I got a lot of messages. I didn't get many death threats, but there were definitely a couple sprinkled throughout my platforms. Some people would message me saying like, I've never hated anyone in my life more than I hate you, and stuff like that, and just saying like blaming me for, you know, the cultural appropriation of the entire music industry, which when you look at Kev on Stage's video, it looks like that's the case. Like if I were to just watch Kev on Stage's video, I would hate me too. But
So you
um
understand? You get it. You get it.
I understand. I get it. No, believe me. Like I totally understand if anyone were to just come across Kev on Stage's video and then not do any further looking into who I was talking about, which, rightfully so. I messed up in the first place for not clarifying and including more of the historical background behind the Slowed and Reverb sound. Um, I get it, believe me. Like it's,
But I mean,
but
to be fair though, I mean, you were born. Would you say 1999 when you were born?
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the 20th year anniversary of Screw, so I can understand how you may have not known that. But I mean, I know you do, what is it, song psych, where you kind of go, behind the scenes, like, kind of explain songs. So you've never, I know more for y'all's generation. I was trying to think after we talked yesterday. I was like, who would be the person to connect your generation to DJ Screw? And I was thinking, Travis Scott. So you never heard like Travis Scott's Astroworld album or anything like that?
I've heard Travis Scott. Yeah, I like Travis Scott. I just never heard of DJ Screw.
So you didn't hear the Astroworld album? You didn't have the Astroworld album? His
I
latest
mean,
album with all that? Or
I've
you're
heard
not?
a couple.
Are you not? A couple songs. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I've never sat down and listened to all of Astroworld. Like I know a couple of the popular songs from the album, but um I mostly listen to Travis Scott's Days Before Rodeo. I think that's my favorite of his.
Thing for radio. Yeah, that's a good take. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, like we're just gonna do some education, man. I mean, tell me what since you've went back, because obviously there was another video, where you were kind
Mhm.
of correcting it, like, no, listen, this is Slater said he was influenced by DJ Screw and all that. So what were some of the things
Mhm.
about DJ Screw when you were doing your research?
Yeah, totally. So, I just want to make sure I'm getting my terminology right. So, screwed and chopped, that refers to something made by DJ Screw. Like it can't be screwed and chopped unless it's by DJ Screw, and then chopped and screwed is more like when people adapt the sound that DJ Screw like, pioneered. Is that right?
Well, I mean, it's the definition. It's kind of changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when it started out, Screw was very, very adamant about not allowing anyone else to call their music Screw if they slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was serious about that because it's evolved into a genre now that he's passed away. But at the time,
Mm-hmm.
he was a DJ, so it's like you putting out music, a brand of music under, Dev Lemons, and then somebody comes
Mm-hmm.
out and they do something similar and they're calling themselves Dev Lemons. You're like, nah, like call it something else. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah.
So it became a very, very serious thing. Have you ever heard of Michael Watts and the Swisher House and all that?
The Swisher House sounds familiar.
Are you familiar with Slim Thug or Paul Wall or Mike Jones or the song Still Tipping or anything like that? You know
Slim
about all
Thug,
that?
I've heard of Slim Thug, yeah. These names
Yeah.
sound
So
familiar.
okay. So the way it goes is like this. Around DJ Screw he's a regular DJ. Okay, this is what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He is a DJ. Around
Yeah.
90, 91, 92, somewhere up in there, 1990, 91, 92, he started
Mm-hmm.
on his music. Now, he wasn't the first person to slow music down. There were other people in Houston like Daryl Scott. You had someone
Mm-hmm.
like Jazzy Red. There's a guy named Michael Price, rest in peace. And they were slowing it down, but they may do one song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, shout out to Mike Dean too. Mike Dean is Travis Scott's. He produced on Astroworld. He produced Rest in Peace DJ Screw. He produced Sicko Mode. He produced
No
a lot of
way.
classic H. He's a real big part of this Houston culture and just hip hop culture in general, but especially Houston. He's really one of the real architects of Houston. So
That's
shout out
awesome.
Mike Dean.
Shout out Mike Dean.
But yeah, so 91, 92, Screw takes this thing, and what they were doing before, the guys I were naming, they were making whole mixtapes, regular speed, and it may be like one song that was slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't called Screw. It wasn't really called anything. They just kind of slowed the music down, and this is what happened. But again, this wasn't their style. It was like, we're going to slow down one song, everything else will be regular. So when you talk about, Mike Dean, Screw was the first DJ to make it in Billboard with the mixtape. Yeah, definitely. With 3 in 1, yeah, for sure. So he starts making these mixtapes that were on. Do you know what a cassette is?
I know. Yeah, I know what a cassette is.
Okay.
It's like the little...
All right. So he will record. Yeah, a little tape. Yeah, I was supposed to bring one with me, but he would record his music on these tapes.
Mm-hmm.
From these tapes, they became popular. And it used to be that you could come and, let's just say, you say, Dev, okay, you got your list of your favorite songs. I want to go to Screw's house and make me a tape. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to take my list of my favorite songs to Screw. He's going to make my Screw tape. I'm going to come back and pick it up, and that's my personal copy. And then I might go over there and say, well, here's my list. I want to make my tape like this. And then he would make my tape, and that was my personal copy. Well, as time went on, it got so popular that he didn't have time to make every single person their own personal tape. So they were still personal tapes, but they were only for specific people. And mainly those people were a part of the Screwed Up Click, SUC, which is, you familiar with SUC? Did you find anything about that, the Screwed Up Click?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Screwed Up Click, those really became the guys who really were like privy to getting these personal tapes. A few other kids, for the most part, you had to kind of be down with Screw to get this. And that's when it really got popular, because he would make less personal tapes, but he would make copies of those tapes himself, doing everything himself, his own manufacturing. He would record all these tapes, sell these tapes, and he would sell so many tapes that, you would come to his house, let's say, okay, at 7:00 p.m., I'm going to sell tapes. Mm-hmm. So everybody would come to Screw's house, line their cars up. Imagine a street and cars lined up both sides of the street all the way down, waiting to get these tapes. Personally from him. This wasn't available in the store. This was his thing. And, like Screw's a thing now, is popular, but it was really a real, like, it was only a certain group of people that liked it. A lot of people liked it, but still a certain group of people, and it was even more people that didn't understand it. They frowned upon it. A lot of people told him what he was doing, this was crazy, it's never going to work. What is this? Why is this music? Why is it slowed down? Why does it sound like this? And it was a lot of backlash. It was a lot of love, but it was a lot of backlash as well. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm selling these tapes. Tapes got so popular that people would people would actually line up, and it looked like he was maybe doing something illegal. So at some point, the police ran into his house because they thought he was selling drugs.
Oh.
They thought he was selling drugs because it was that much traffic. Imagine this. Imagine you're living in a neighborhood, and in this particular at this house in this particular neighborhood across from where you live, every Saturday morning or whatever, or every Saturday evening around the same time, there's just cars. So the neighbors didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
This is with the police coming. Now, with these Screw tapes, the reason why it's so near and dear to us a lot is because it's not just a Screw tape. It's not just a music. It's a whole culture. So our city was built, our city, our identity, our whole identity is this Screw culture. Rap A Lot Records was the first major label here. And they were able to, they put out Scarface, the Ghetto Boys, a lot of legendary stuff, but like really underground grassroots movement, it was Screw. So it's very near and dear. And again, like I'm saying, there was so much information put out on these tapes. This is how we learn how to talk. This is how we learn how to dress. This is how we learn what was cool. And Screw was from the South Side. This is important. Screw was from the South Side, so it was a South Side thing. I'm from the South Side too. Screw was from the South Side. It was a south side thing. In the north side of town, you know, it would be like little wars. So some people end up getting killed because someone make it on a screw tape and say, you know, fuck the north side. You know, these guys are down here, they're stealing our cars. You know what a slab is? Do you know what a slab is?
Yeah, that's like a kind of, I know it's a car, but like they spray paint like sort
So
of
a
bright.
slab
I don't.
is a car. You know, it's usually like a Cadillac, maybe a Buick, maybe you know, just different types of cars, but usually Cadillac, Buick, you know, old school cars. You know what I mean? We put candy paint on them. We put swangers on them. We put the sound
Mhm.
system in. We redo the insides, everything, make it all, you know, brand new. To where a lot of these cars, you put so much money, you know, they'll end up, you know, they'll look better than a lot of new cars. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a thing, you know. And
Mhm.
at the time in this era, when if you rode slab, that was a sign of wealth.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So
Yeah.
thing like I'm riding slab, you know.
Mhm.
Um, you talk about, you know what lean is, and like, you know, of course you know what lean is.
Yeah.
Thing that derives, for the most part, the popularity of lean derives from screw and these screw tapes. They talk
Okay.
about lean, they talk about riding slab, they talk about representing the South Side, they talk about,
Mhm.
you know, having their hair bald fade, a certain type of haircut that we wore on the South Side. All these
Mhm.
different things that gave us our identity.
Mhm.
So, hold on, let's see. I'm sorry, these comments are going crazy. Y'all got to relax in these comments, man. So, you know, it's a culture. It's a real
Yeah.
thing. And so, what Mike Dean was saying, you know, about the Billboard thing, you know, so 1996 comes around, and through the popularity, 84s and Vogues for sure. You know what I mean? That's what we call them. That's swangers. You know what I mean? You say somebody
Mhm.
riding swing, say I'm swanging, swanging bang, whatever. This is all from screw culture. These are all the things that made us, you know what I mean, what we are today. And these,
Mhm.
you know, these things were talked about, you know, in the early 90s. You know, had been going on since the 80s, but really in the 90s is when it really got put on Front Street. So he pushed his album out 3 in the morning, the one you were listening to.
Mhm.
This is the time that Screw is on the radio, on mainstream radio here in Houston. It was a big deal. This is the same radio station who
Mhm.
denied him when he worked for them. So it was a big deal. Like this is what I'm
Yeah.
like. There were a lot of dues paid with DJ Screw, and unfortunately, you know, this is a 20-year anniversary of his death coming up November 16th. He never really
Mhm.
lived to see it become what it is today. He used to say, "I'm gonna screw the world up." The world is
Mhm.
screwed up, and he never got to see it. While he's doing this on the north side, Michael Watts starts doing Swishahouse. But
Okay.
the north side didn't have a voice, so the south side is doing this thing. They're representing. They are, you know, they have the representation. And the north side
Mhm.
have any representation. So Michael Watts starts Swishahouse. This is north side representation. This is where you get Slim Thug from. This is where you get Paul Wall from. This is where you get Mike Jones from. This is where you get Chameleonaire from. This,
Gotcha.
you know, all this was, so it was a similar type of thing, but it was kind of, you know, it was the next phase of that. And there was a lot of controversy because initially, you know, Watts was saying that it was a screw tape,
Mhm.
and that was the issue. That was when we first started hearing about issues of screw being, you know, if I didn't do it, it's not a screw tape. If your
Mhm.
name is DJ Bob, call it a Bob tape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Totally.
This has been going on for a long time of people coming behind Screw and him not
Mhm.
really getting the credit that he deserved for what he started.
Yeah, I can't like, because when I was looking into him, like the more I was learning about, just how who he was as a person too, and like now that you mentioned like how people have always tried to sort of rip his style and call it screwed when it's not really by Screw, like yeah, the lack of historical context in the Sloan and Reverb video, it's embarrassing, like because he the influence he had like is incredible, and just like how loyal he was to his clique. Like I read somewhere that so many bigger labels were offering him deals and stuff, and he would just come at it like, I'm not signing unless everyone in my community is getting a deal. And like yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
incredible.
so what happens is at the same time, you know, he's doing these slow down mixtapes, regular
Mhm.
music, chopped and screwed. You know, he's chopping it, it's slowed down. But at the same time, we're also getting introduced to people like Little Kiki, like Fat Pat, like the Botany,
Yes.
like Mr. 32. Well, Mr. 32 had
Mhm.
harder screwed up quick. Like Mike D, you know,
Mhm.
Zero. Like, you know, all these guys who were typically just regular guys who, you know, got the opportunity to go to DJ Screw, and he was so popping that an appearance on his tape, and if you did well, it gained you popularity.
Mhm.
It's like you start something in your room today, people in your neighborhood hear about what you're doing. They come out, they start to do it with you. And from just something as simple as that, then you have labels interested in these people because the buzz from Screw is so big that the music, the tapes are getting out, the flows are getting out. So now we're learning who is Lil Kiki, who is Fat Pat, who is this
Mhm.
brother Hawk, who is featured on the song Sicko Mode. You know Sicko Mode, right?
I know Sicko Mode.
There's a part in there where it goes, the window retreat, we all in too deep or some shit like that. Don't
Mhm.
play us for weak. That part of the song,
Mhm.
that's Big Hawk. That's Fat.
Oh.
This is all, so Screw is very relevant. So I'm telling you all this because this is important. I really hope that you can connect this for your audience. You know what I mean? Maybe do some
Mhm.
songs, Sicko Mode, and connect Big Hawk and DJ Screw and all this. But this information needs to get out here to this younger generation.
I'm gonna write that down.
Important. Now, yeah, so Sicko Mode samples Big Hawk, who is Fat Pat's brother. Fat Pat and Hawk both
Mhm.
were friends with Screw, part of the Screwed Up Clique. Mike Dean put the
Awesome.
Hawk in there. So that's the connect. That's DJ Screw. There's also a song called "Rest in Peace, DJ Screw" on Astroworld, and
Oh,
it
okay.
samples vocal samples of Screw, like small vocal samples of him talking within this song.
Got it.
This was all. This
I'll
was
check
produced
that
by.
out after this.
Check this out. Yeah, check it out. This is very important. So Screw is very
Awesome.
much. Hey, the slowed and reverb thing. I understand. I have a younger friend of mine, Mufasa. Shout out Mufasa. He introduced me to slowed and reverb like a year ago, and he was basically like, "It's Screw music with a reverb effect." So I've been fun about it, but I think a lot of the
Mhm.
backlash came from one, it was a lot of people's first time hearing screwed and reverb because that's typically some young generational stuff. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
really something your generation, like people, you know, maybe a little bit older my age, older than me. This was their first time even hearing the term. So it was that
Mhm.
along with the fact that screw wasn't mentioned, you know, with the
Mhm.
Slater thing and all that. That's put a lot of that back. So take notes with this. So where are we?
Mhm.
You got any
No, yeah,
questions about anything?
totally.
I'm sorry.
No, no,
You
you're
can go
fine.
ahead and
I just no, yeah, I was just gonna say like, yeah, I don't know how I didn't like. I just simply didn't do enough research. Like it's, I know, like it's really my bad. It won't happen again. Like this is just, a wake up call to me, just sort of when I, craft these scripts, when I like run them through my team and stuff to really make sure I have all of my research straight before, I pass it on to my boss and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I think, and again, like with the slow and reverb thing too, I think it's important to, you know, really look at like they're very similar, like stylistically, they're very similar. I think it's interesting too to see the differences in terms of like the production, like the slowed and reverb, like that's all digital. Like it's, chopped and screwed is literally just analog turntables chopping live between two separate beats. And that's like, not that slowed and
well, here's the
reverb isn't
thing.
impressive.
Here's 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 the
Sorry, go
thing.
ahead. Like,
So slowed and
mhm.
reverb, with Screw, listen to a Screw tape, every song isn't chopped. Some songs are slow, which will only get
Oh,
between slow is the reverb,
okay,
the reverb effect. That's all it is. And now
okay.
we make a Screw because it's become a genre. We want to make sure that we
Mhm,
give him his credit. We want to make
mhm.
sure anytime something slowed down is mentioned, that we always say, "Rest in peace, DJ Screw."
Okay, got it.
Always. Somebody's gonna
Mhm,
come behind Slate 10 years from
mhm,
now, 5 years from now,
mhm,
20 years from now, and they'll say, hey, this is whatever. We need to make sure, you know what I mean? I need you to pass this information along to your followers and this younger generation. That anytime
Hmm.
you hear something slow down, that you have to say DJ Screw first.
Hmm.
Whatever it is, whatever you say after that, but you have to start with DJ Screw.
Yeah, exactly. I and I've made sure to sort of do that. I'm working. Um, the reason I didn't take down, I took down the original Slow and Reverb video on like Instagram and Twitter. Like we're making sure not to post that. Um, and the reason I haven't taken down the original on TikTok yet is because I'm, well, one, I want to be held accountable for what I did, and I feel like if I took down the original, that would just, it would make me be like, oh, I'm trying to like hide what I did. But I want people who look at like the Kev on Stage video to be able to go and see the original and, hold me accountable for it. I am working, I'm going to talk to my team because like the Song Psych isn't just me. Like I have a whole production team. I have a boss, I have a script consultant, I have an editor, and we have like weekly meetings. So I'm going to, take the Slowed and Reverb video and sort of rework the script. I made a separate, follow up just to talk about DJ Screw, but um, when talking about, because the original video was about why we like that sound, like why we like slowed down music, like the psychology behind it. So I want to try to, still deliver that message, but revise it so that I properly cite the source of where slowed down music started.
Yeah, yeah, no, that would be great. I just, it's just a lot of people because it's just so real to us. You know what I mean? This is our culture. Even with me, like all these things
Mm-hmm.
represent Houston culture. Just, you know what I mean? I was intentional with this.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of Houston. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people who died along the way and never got to see this
Mm-hmm.
be what it is. So it's just important that we always mention DJ Screw. Always talk about the Screw real
Exactly.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
Talk
And it
being no
blows
simple.
my mind. Sorry, it blows my mind that people, back then, I mean, obviously there's, people who like things and people who don't with any type of music. There's no like perfect song, but it's just incredible how ahead of his time DJ Screw really was because Slowed and Reverb, like now is huge. People love it.
Yeah,
And, you're right. Like it all, it's important to make sure it doesn't get lost in translation and that his legacy doesn't, you know, become forgotten.
yeah. No, that's very important. And also, if you're ever in Houston, come to the screw shop. The screw shop still exists. So after he, when I was telling you about the police kicking in his door and all that, like it got so big, he would sell
Hmm.
thousands of tapes. He might sell 10,000 tapes in one day.
Hmm.
This is $10 a piece. Each
It's
tape was
amazing.
$10, and they were all himself. It's him making these copies himself. Everything's him.
Hmm.
After that, he created the screw shop, which became kind of like a store, like a place where it wasn't his home. It was a public place you could come and get these things. And this
Hmm.
place still exists. Check it out. Come to check out the screw shop. You know what I mean? Check
Yeah,
out
I would love
check out
that.
records and tapes. You know what I mean? That's the name of it. Screwed up records and tapes. Write that down. 3538 West Freeway. Yeah, you're right. Screwed up records and tapes. There's a website for it. Check it out. But we just have to. It's just important that we preserve this culture. We preserve DJ Screw's name. That we just always make sure that he's never forgotten.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. And I'm talking to my team, like the original Slowed and Reverb video, it's gonna be re-uploaded with a revised script. I just don't want to take it down until I re-upload it because, I don't want to erase what I did. But
Okay.
yeah, it's really incredible just the work ethic of DJ Screw too. Like if you just look, like he's come out with so much music, like
Hundreds.
endless music, hundreds of mixtapes. And I think that's amazing because if you look at artists today, like people will, drop one album every 3 years. And not to say that like not to take away from the hard work that goes into albums today, but it's just, he was always grinding out these just like countless incredible mixes and, chops of existing songs, and also like he made his own songs with the people from the Screwed Up Click, and I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, it's
There's
you
a
know, it's the thing. And then there's also people like I talked about Michael Watts. I don't want to not mention people. You have people like the Chop Stars, which is OG Ron C and his group of guys, Candlestick, DJ Hollygrove, uh,
mhm
DJ Slim K. You know what I mean?
mhm
It's a group, but they keep the Chop Star thing going. They're affiliated with Drake, so they do a lot of the exclusive Drake mixes. Um,
mhm
this is just a thing, man. You know what I mean? But again, they're keeping the Screw legacy alive. So we just wanna always
mhm
not ever not mention DJ Screw. You know?
No, yeah, totally. So the Chop Stars like they came after DJ Screw. Were they
So, so this is the way it goes. You have DJ
okay?
Screw, you have Michael Watts,
Mhm
who I was telling you about, who did it on the North Side. When
mhm
Michael Watts started switching, doing it with OG Ron C. OG
mhm
Ron C later off broke off and started making slow down music with his own crew, and that's the Chop Stars.
Got it. Okay.
But
That
yeah,
makes sense. That's awesome that
yeah.
they're still, at least, his
Representing
legacy can
actually,
live
DJ.
on.
I see DJ Hollygrove. He's a Chop Star. He's one of the
Really? Oh,
yeah.
awesome. Wow, thanks for coming. I'll check out Chop Stars after this for sure. I've been mainly focusing on listening to DJ Screw, but yeah, I didn't realize, so many people have adapted this sound
Yeah,
in like their
yeah,
own ways. That's so cool.
yeah. So you want to know about DJ Screw? You want to know about Michael Watts? You want to know about OG Ron C and the Chop Star? You know,
hmm
and then you got Ed, who's now doing the slow down mixes for the Screw Shop. He's the official DJ for the Screw Shop, which is what I was telling you about, where you come and buy your screw tapes, different apparel and things.
That's so cool. So the Screw Shop, like they still do these personalized mixtapes, or do they
You can
just sell?
they sell DJ Screw's catalog, but you can also
Oh, okay.
hit up DJ Red if you say, hey Red, I want to do a tape. You can come to Houston and set up a session with Red, pick your songs, and Red will do your tape. You can freestyle, you can do whatever you want.
That's so cool.
Like Screw did it, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Take some codeine while you listen. That's another thing I think is so incredible about DJ Screw's work is like it's so cool in music when like what you're talking about in the lyrics like feels like what the music sounds like. I mean, I know that not every song is about, drugs obviously, but I think it's cool that one of the themes in 3 in the Morning is drugs, and lean especially like makes you feel slower, and I think it's really cool how he took that slowed down sort of he took the music and slowed it down itself to make it sort of feel like one of the themes in his lyrics. That's like really awesome.
Oh, and that's the thing. You don't have to drink syrup or smoke or any of that to listen to it. But it was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like what you do, and you put on the screw tape. It's like, all right, I'm good. This is perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but anytime you see somebody talking about lean, whether it's like one of these new rappers like a Young Thug, or you see somebody like the color purple, that's kind of become like the city's like almost like official color, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's a representation that comes from Serb, which comes from Screw culture, you know. But all these things
Mm-hmm.
derive from DJ Screw and what between him and his guys in Screw Click.
So
Yeah.
so when you say like so you say that lean in like rap music, like rapping about lean, like DJ Screw sort of popularized that too.
Did Screw popularize it? I would say yeah, because here's the thing is that lean has been around, but
Yeah.
in the freestyle, I'm sipping lean, sipping codeine,
Mm-hmm.
you know, up to Serb or whatever. They would talk about these things. And then that put it out there. Like I said, they were telling us how to live, basically. At the time we
Mm-hmm.
were, starch pants. We put a lot of starch in our pants, and they would have these really, really serious creases. You know what I mean? So they talked about dressing, you know, how you dress, you know what I mean? How you talk, how you move. We sip serve, we smoke weed, we ride slab. We, you know, this is what we do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how the culture is created.
That's so awesome. Because
Yeah,
lean is like, oh,
yeah, Future, Lil Wayne, Drake, Rocky, all those. That's all, you know. There's all the screw influence, all of them.
that's so cool. Because yeah, I feel like lean is just like such a big, a lot of people rap about lean. So I wouldn't have known that he, was the one who really popularized that. That's awesome.
Listen to if you listen to morning, he said, he said, I can't remember the line, but if you listen to the song "Pimp the Pen" on 3 in the morning with Lil Keith on
Yes,
it,
I love that song. One of my favorites.
he's telling you what we do, you know. In
Hmm.
Cali, they ride dates. You know, in Houston, we elbows. In Cali, they datings, elbows and swingers. That's 84s. That was the cars, you know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, man, they gave us the culture through the music.
That's so incredible. It's just so music is just so powerful. Like it's just such an incredible thing, No one understands like why we like it so much, and I think that's just so cool. It's just like one of those things that like makes our whole brain light up, and we still don't know why, which is so it's just so cool. And yeah, you can see I think it's really important too, again, like DJ Screw's passion. Like so many people I feel like especially today, like will enter the music industry to make money because, they feel like it's a quick way to get a lot of money if you're good at it. But, DJ Screw, like he'd been DJing since he was what, 13? Like that's like
He was,
he really loved what he did.
yeah,
And that's just so important. I think that's just there's so many important lessons to be taken away from him in like his work ethic, his loyalty to his group, his love and passion for what he did. Like that's just amazing.
yeah, yeah. It is. So you got any more questions? I mean, I don't want to keep you too long, but if you have any more
No,
questions,
yeah.
I'd be glad to answer.
So besides the people you've mentioned, are there any other like Texas rappers or just Southern rap in general, like any recommendations for me to check out?
Rap General, okay. Do you know about Rap a Lot Records?
Rap a Lot Records?
Rap a Lot
Uh,
Records. That was a big.
no, I don't.
That was the first biggest thing musically in hip hop to come out of Houston. It was founded by Jay Prince, who was a legendary CEO of the game. They had the group Ghetto Boys. Look up Ghetto Boys, My Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Look up that song. Huge song.
Awesome.
Look up Scarface.
Hmm.
Listen to Scarface. Listen to some Zero.
Zero.
Zero. Listen to listen to 3-2. My cousin
Three,
Three
two.
Two.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
your cousin. That's awesome.
Listen to as far as you know, you have the North Side as well. You want to check out. Oh, you definitely want to check out UGK, Underground Kings. You ever heard of Pimp C?
Pimp C.
Have you ever heard people? Pimp C it's kind of he's one of those ones we recognize like Screw too. We always make it a point to say rest in peace to Pimp C. I got him on my hat. It's a big deal.
Oh, awesome.
Real big deal. So UGK was a group that consisted of Pimp C and Bun B. They were a group. They were a duo. So you want to check
Okay,
out
wow.
UGK. You want to check out UGK, and specifically, you want to check out UGK Ride Dirty. Check out that album. That album
Can
is
you
heavily
repeat that? You cut out. I'm sorry.
huh?
Can you repeat the name of the album?
Called Riding Dirty.
Riding Dirty. Okay, awesome.
Riding Dirty. Look up that. That is the album. It's a UGK has a lot of albums, but that album specifically is heavily influenced by the Screw era,
Oh,
and
awesome.
it's one undeniable classic across the board. Jay-Z has quoted things that Bun B said on there. A lot of people have quoted different things. You know, this is a very impactful album.
Awesome.
You want to check out Big Mo's City of Serve. He was the first person to, on his album cover, he's holding a cup of Serve, pouring it over the city.
Hmm. Oh,
Um,
awesome.
you, you want to check out Lil O. Lil O was the first person to do a song with Beyonce. before she
Really?
blew up. She was in a group called Destiny's Child.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of
I know Destiny's
Destiny's
Child.
Child? So she was in a group called Destiny's Child. Before Destiny's Child had any song out, they were on a song with Lil O called Can't
Wow.
Stop. Very important.
Can't stop. That's awesome.
Fat Pat Ghetto Dreams. Fat Pat was Big Hawk's brother, the guy who
Fat
sampled on
Pat.
Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
You want to
I
check
heard
that
of
out.
him a lot when I was doing my research.
You want to check out Lil Kiki, Don't Mess with Texas album.
Yeah. I Lil Kiki's features on 3 in the Morning are awesome. Like he's definitely out of everyone that was on that mixtape, I think he's my favorite, and I really like the freestyle that Lil Flip did.
Which one? He's
Yeah.
done a lot.
The
He's
one
done a
on
lot.
3 in the Morning, I think it's just called Freestyle
Oh no, no, that's
on the album.
not 3 in the morning. So Little Flip came, the Screwed Up Click started building around, I don't know, 92, 93, somewhere up in there.
Hmm.
DJ died in 2000. Little Flip wasn't really brought into the picture until like 98, 99, like towards the end.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't on 3 in the morning. He wasn't, these
Oh,
are,
really? On the
yeah,
Spotify version of 3 in the Morning, like the 20, I guess maybe it's a deluxe version, but because I was listening to it on Spotify, it's like the 20th anniversary, so that's why I thought he was on 3 in the Morning.
I'll send you some other stuff. I'll send you some other
Okay.
stuff to get you. But Lil Flip, Lil Kiki, Fat Pat, all those guys, that's like one era of Screw. And then you
Okay.
have guys later like Zero, Lil Flip, different guys like that.
Got
And
it.
all undeniable. Love
Hmm.
these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank
You
you
want to
so
check
much.
you also check out Paul Wall.
Paul Wall.
You want to check out Slim Thug.
Some Thug, yeah.
You want to check out Mike Jones.
Hmm.
Okay. You want to check out these Swisher House flows. Look up, I'll give you a Swisher House tape. Look up Swisher House before the cap of 2K, before the cap of 2000. And just listen to that whole thing. R.I.P. Big
Okay.
Mello. You want to look up Big Mello. Big Mello has an album called Funk with Your Mind. He was early on, one of the pioneers. You want to check
Awesome.
out ABN. That was a group with Z Ray, legendary Texas shit. ABN stands for Assholes by Nature. So if you see that, then it's all the same thing.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'll probably just give you some stuff. It's just some links or something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I wrote all this down. I'm just gonna make like a giant playlist probably of like um all these songs. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh, you want to check out ESG too? ESG was huge. He was one of the people to say DJ Screw's name in a rap song.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big deal.
Oh, wait, ESG. He's on, I mean, he's on the 3 in the Morning that I listen to on Spotify.
He's on the intro talking.
And Sailing to South, right?
Selling us out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been doing research, about Selling the South. You've been doing your due diligence. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, I've been bumping Screw. Like ever since I found out about DJ Screw, I have been heavily bumping Screw. Like he's phenomenal. I wish I would have known about him sooner.
Yeah. Yeah. So start there. That's a great place to start. And again, I mean, if you have any more questions, like let me know. I have no problem. I love talking about this stuff.
Totally. Yeah, same here. Like this has been awesome and I really appreciate this. Like this was so fun and informative and I'm really excited to listen to all this music.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll have to catch up again so I can see, we'll see, how you feel about everything once you check everything out.
Oh, totally. I will, yeah, I'll probably be checking this stuff out like all this week and next week. So yeah, we should totally catch up again. I'd love to talk about all this.
And also for anybody who missed it, I want to be clear that, Dad was very apologetic about everything when we first spoke. I don't know if anybody caught that. in the live, but I do want to make that clear for anybody who's showing up late. You were apologetic about everything, you know.
Yeah, I really didn't. I'm sorry. Like I really didn't know. But I know now, and I love DJ Screw. He's very important, and I totally get video because yeah, he's incredible. I'm very happy I know about him now.
Yeah. It's a big deal. I'll tell you one last thing that's out of Screw too, as far as relevance. You know about George Floyd, unfortunately, that passed away. He was part of
Mm-hmm.
So you can pull up freestyles with George Floyd and DJ Screw.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I will definitely check that out.
Yeah. So that's what's up, man. I don't know. I guess if you don't have any more questions, we can wrap it up. But I mean, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being open to, receiving, the knowledge. You know what I mean, the education on it.
Of course. Like it's literally I love learning new things. Like I'm unfortunately, I had to learn it through a lot of backlash, but I still learned it and I I'm really happy that I learned about this because if I wouldn't have made that mistake in the first place, I feel like, there's a lot of people in my generation that don't know about DJ Screw, unfortunately. And, the fact that I neglected to, recognize his impact in the original video, if I would have done that, this would have, my video would not have reached the level it reached. And I feel like because of my mistakes, so many people learned about DJ Screw that wouldn't have learned about him in the first place. So I'm just grateful that, you know, unfortunately, yeah, I messed up, but there's always positives in everything. And like, I guarantee so many people that would like learned about DJ Screw that wouldn't have learned about him if I hadn't made that mistake.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's what's up. So I'm gonna put it on you. I'm gonna put the responsibility on you to tell as many people that you come across that ever mention slow down music. You know that we always
Hmm.
start out with rest in peace, DJ Screw.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I've already told all my friends about DJ Screw. Like he's great. So I'll just keep talking about him. Like and totally. Anytime it comes up, I will make sure to give credit where credit is due.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, if that's it. We're good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Like this was amazing and thank you to everyone for coming. This was fantastic. I'm so glad I got to be a part of this.
It is. So rest in peace, DJ Screw. We got the 20th anniversary coming up November 6th this year. So yeah, you know,
Yeah, rest in peace, DJ Screw.
already. That's what's up. All right, Deb. You enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Dev for being so open. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Check out the podcast. If you ever never checked out the Donnie Houston podcast, check out the podcast. Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, everything. You know what I'm saying? We got interviews dropping every week. Got some new interviews dropping this week. But yeah, man, Donnie Houston, I'm out.